Hello, I'm Rida Fakhri. Welcome to We the People. In this hotly contested U.S. presidential campaign, one issue has been largely overlooked: poverty. 37 million people, that is 1 in 8 Americans, live below the official poverty line. That means these families are often homeless, hungry, and have no health insurance. Over the last 3 decades, the rich have gotten richer, and the distance between the haves and have-nots has widened. In many Western countries, up to 10% of children live in poverty. That percentage is double in the United States, and the numbers are growing. What's worse, American children born into poverty have little chance of moving up and out. We the People travels to Oakland, California, where lack of opportunities and little investment in education have created a cycle of poverty.
Either you have the solution or you're part of the problem. Right now, I need a lot of money to solve them. If you can't produce, I must cut you loose. Your boy laced up like a girl.
And if we don't take a stand, it could be you, it could be me. You feel me? There's so many homicides out here, and I'm tired of grieving all my partners.
You must be hating because I'm doing better than you. But it's not that I'm better than you. Just to handle situations.
There's a lot of drugs, violence, and also a lot of poor, low-income families. We're like boxed in, and this month alone, I lost 4 good friends.
We're in East Oakland. This is called the Shady 80s. They call it the Shady 80s because they say that every single person you walk by, don't trust them because everybody got alternative motives. My name is Janine, and I'm 30 years old. I've been residing in Oakland, California my whole life. Born in Oakland, raised in Oakland, still in Oakland. I have 2 sons, Josiah and Joshua, ages 5 and 7. Their father is currently incarcerated. I have Buddy here in my life.
My name is Clyde. I'm originally from Mississippi, but I've been raised Oakland, California my whole life. It's gonna be Oakland till I die. And here I am at 30 years old with a criminal history, still trying to become the man I know I can be. How much can you be helping your family if you committing crime to support them?
We know that more than half of all black children live in single-parent households. Half, a number that's doubled since we were children. We know the statistics that children who grow up without a father are 5 times more likely to live in poverty and commit crime. They're 9 times more likely to drop out of school, 20 times more likely to end up in prison.
My mother went into a 2-year depression at that time. She didn't watch us. Yeah, the street, you can say the streets got a hold of me. I literally went to prison, a 19-year-old kid. I came out of prison months before my 26th birthday. I went to prison a boy, and I came out literally a man with responsibilities.
I know, baby. There's nothing there to eat at all. And it won't be nothing in there to eat for another 8 days. But gotta work it out. Reality is we're in poverty.
This month's rent bounced. I got 24 hours to come up with rent money. So it's like, it's the 25th hour. And I'm sitting here filling out these job applications. I'm sitting here doing what they said I was supposed to do, and it's not happening. And every day I wake up, these kids are hungry.
Okay. Let me know if I need more sugar. If you gotta go in the Safeway and put some steaks under my shirt for dinner, then you gotta put some steaks under your shirt for dinner. I'm gonna try to go get a loan tomorrow. I don't have a job. So, yeah, I gotta try it. To get a payday loan, you need a job. Buddy, what you want me to say? Position.
Yeah, just put on the resume, entry-level position.
Okay.
Entered and completed Men in Valor Academy, counseling, interacting with
life coaching, positive speaking, drug rehabilitation.
Yeah, there you go, high five.
Drug.
I'm up early in the morning, man, filling out job applications, hitting the grind, trying to do what it takes to put food on the table. We're going over to art Refuge. It's a men's treatment program, a living program for guys who are trying to get back on their feet and to get off drugs. And I was able to get some experience when I went through a living program at Men of Valor. A few days back, Men of Valor just gave me this letter. You know what I mean, showing that I was hard working. They spoke highly of me and they said I was a good example. Should be somebody here 24 hours a day.
Very good. Well, we'll look over this and be in touch.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hopefully, it'll all work out. And hopefully they can look at my life experience and see that even though you fall, you can get back up. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do right now, is get back up.
You'd never wanted government to make your living for you. You just expected us to show a decent concern for your hard work and initiative and do what we can, to help make sure you have the opportunities to prosper from your labor.
Hey, how you doing, man? Good. You guys hiring right now? Good. Daily routine. Man, it's frustrating. It's going on, what, 6 months now I've been unemployed? They said come up this way, and I went down here.
We don't have anything to do with them.
Man, this is frustrating. Are you guys hiring?
Right now, we're on a freeze. We might be hiring drivers I'd say maybe in a couple weeks.
There are some neighborhoods in the city of Oakland where the unemployment rate is 60%. We also have people who are working 2 and 3 jobs and still living below the poverty line.
I work, their father works, we pay bills, we have to decide which bill to pay instead of being able to pay them all. And after the fact, there's not enough money to buy enough groceries to feed us. It's myself, my 2 children, and their father. He works full-time, I work 5 hours a day, and I also pick up cans and bottles for extra money, and I also do a little hair on the side, and even with all of that, we're not able to make ends meet. Thank you so much.
I've been working with Project Outreach for over 15 years, and as we see it today, it's getting worse. The lines are getting longer. We would serve like 2,000 people per week, twice a week. There are 2 and 3 churches on the block that's doing the same thing.
No money, yeah. I no money, yeah.
We're seeing that the gap between the rich and the poor in this country is speeding up and getting broader. What happens here at home is we have more and more people relying on smaller and smaller government support.
I think America's greatest moral failure in my lifetime has been not thinking about providing ladders of opportunity for people to get into the middle class. I mean, there's a pervasive sense, I think, that this country, as wealthy and powerful as we are, still don't spend enough time thinking about the least of these.
And the only thing we got is this pistol in our hand, and these kids need to eat now. The average man would go back to crime if that's what he's accustomed to. That's what he's accustomed to. He'll go back to committing crime to do what he got to do to feed his family.
It's the 28th of the month, and I haven't paid the rent for the month, so I'm going to go get a payday loan to pay the rent. With the payday loan, you have to have a paycheck stub, a check. We driving a little far out because I have pretty much burnt all the payday loan places in the area. It worked out great. I got the payday loan. They called the job to verify, and no one answered, so everything went cool. $254, which is how much I owe. We're going to the food pantry to go to get some food in this refrigerator. Mostly they just give rice and beans and stuff, but it helps. Come on. Come on, baby, let's go get some food. Pick up July from school early. Hi, how are you? Oh, that's my kids.
Overweight food the 4th Monday of every month, and we have free breakfasts on the second and fourth Saturday. You get free meals. You bring your kids in and go to Vacation Bible School. Okay?
What? Okay.
So we're known as the Eaton Church.
Okay.
Sign in right over there.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Come on, boys.
Government must be attentive to the impact of its policies on families so that it doesn't, through inattention or arrogance, make it harder for parents to have the resources to succeed in the greatest work of their lives, raising their children.
Can I get some more spaghetti if I'm still hungry when I finish my own spaghetti?
Yeah, hopefully there's some left, baby.
When you have a young person who goes to a school that doesn't have enough money to buy enough books for every student, when you have a young person who lives in a neighborhood where, again, there's not a grocery store and they have to walk far or eat from the liquor store and they're eating sugar and processed foods, when you have a young person whose family is struggling making ends meet, they don't start off in the same place as a kid who's living in, in this community where there are tons of these big, beautiful homes, tons of grocery stores, everybody, has a job, and people have savings and whatnot. You're not starting in the same place. There's not equal opportunity. And the kids don't have the same outcomes.
Family's not safe, not safe. Because our daddy's in jail, and he's gonna get out.
Hey, let's go, guys. You know there's no hanging out. DeAndre. Gimpy. What's wrong with you, man? You looking like your legs are hurting. You got a shotgun in there? What's going on? Huh?
My name is Jesse Mendez, and I am a senior work experience counselor for the Youth Employment Partnership in Oakland, California. YEP is an organization that assists low-income individuals in job search and work experience. We do everything from job training, teaching an individual how to look for a job, where to look. Bring me a letter showing me that you're doing those.
Okay.
We work with individuals 18 to 24, male and female.
A lot of them been to jail, been locked up. Some of them done a lot of time. And this is their process in changing their lives and doing something different, learning a new way to live their life.
I came from where they came from. I come from where they're at.
I'm a former gang member. I'm all that stuff. Drug user. I was strung out for 10, 12 years.
My father left probably around age 2, I believe. I don't really remember that much about him. And then my mom moved back out here, left me with my grandparents. I started using drugs and getting involved in a lot of different things. Just pretty much being broke and on the streets. I can remember sleeping in people's yards and garages and stuff of abandoned houses just for a place to stay at night. I joined the gang lifestyle. They gave me a sense of family, that I hadn't had growing up. And they were always there for me. And I really hadn't felt that from anybody, my entire life.
If we're honest with ourselves, we'll admit that too many fathers are also missing. Missing from too many lives and too many homes. They've abandoned their responsibilities. They're acting like boys instead of men. And the foundations of our family have suffered because of it.
I went into a drug program and actually listened to that, and I got clean, and that's when my life started to change.
Daddy!
What? Yeah, I went through a very lengthy, draining court battle for my son, and that's one of my favorite stories to tell is that, here I am, this ex-con gang member from the lower class, and I have full custody of my son.
Can I have 2 old guys?
That's your uncles. I can't afford the things that I want. I can't afford the things that I'd love to do, the things that I need for my son, but we make ends meet.
The way we work here is that they have to do a half a day of education and a half a day of employment. They pretty much get a stipend or a bonus for anything that they do. This entire building used to be a warehouse. Everything that's done here is all done by our students, so that they're learning a trade and learning something at the same time. Is that my yaw in there sleeping?
Yes, that is your yaw.
Excuse me. Slobbering on my table again. Get up, y'all. We also do the GED prep here on site. It's a generalized test that's equivalent to a high school diploma. Over 3/4 of them need their GED or high school diploma.
We spend more in California incarcerating people than we do educating people. If you're locked up in the state of California in prison, spend $30,000 a year to keep you incarcerated if you're an adult. If you're a young person in school, we spend $9,000 to educate you. That's wrong. We're not preparing for our future.
I'd say that on my caseload right now, I've got about 40 kids. But out of that 40, maybe 20 of them are showing up.
We have 1 in 3 young people will drop out of high school before graduating. We're really in dire straits.
I think there's a total of 6 that just got rearrested over the last month and a half. It's tough. I mean, it's really tough for those guys.
1 in 3 black men in the United States will at some point spend time either in prison or jail. It's a huge disproportionate. It's only like 1 in 19 white American.
The problem is the jobs, having the jobs out there to employ them. I can get 100 people ready tomorrow to go out and get a job, but are there 100 jobs out there to put them in? This is our construction site. We've got all the tools and everything around that enables them to get hands-on training on.
These machines make me nervous.
Well, it's nothing to be nervous about, though.
My name is Shamanique Jones. I'm 22 years old. We was raised in a single-parent home. It was rough. I started getting into a lot of trouble out here.
Shamanique comes from, a lot of stuff, background, family involved in drugs and gangs and stuff, and herself being involved in drugs and stuff like that, and being a single mom.
This is my daughter, Demaya. This is my baby father boyfriend, Damien. I come home and be me, just stay in the house, mind my own business. I built this myself. I didn't need nobody help, you know what I'm saying? I know it look kind of junky, it ain't nothing, but this is what I could call home. My mom, she was on welfare, and she had 5 kids about the age of 22, so it was hard on her to make ends meet. And if she had to, she would go out and go steal food. But it was times where we didn't have anything in our house. And my mom started actually using drugs. I don't even call her mom. I call her by her nickname, Cocoa Puff. So I think that a lot of my rebelliousness came from me feeling like my mom didn't really care about me. And I wanted to raise my child with her father in my life, trying to make it work. I wanted to be a woman, not a girl.
Yeah, I just go to work. I just go to work and then just come home. I mean, I don't have no friends. I got kids to take care of. I got a household to take care of. Like I said, anybody can be a daddy, but me personally, I want to be a father, It's a good feeling, especially with me and Shamanique together now. It's definitely a blessing because, we done came a long ways.
Especially for our females, we have what's called women in construction. Women in construction, they come in, they're not really sure about it, and they're like, oh, well, why am I gonna do construction? And they come in and they get a hammer in their hand.
I'm like, I don't want to do this. But then when I started seeing like electric plugs, and I started thinking like, oh, this stuff, I can really do this. This is not something that's impossible for me to do. So I do it to the best of my ability.
Shamanique, came into the class and came in with an attitude that she was going to do something different and not only helped herself, but helped others.
First off, I want to thank all of you. Over this last week, you guys have really changed what you're doing. You've been showing up. You've been here. You've been in class.
The classes that I do at YAP they're not like high school, that's for sure.
Think about it. Think about it. Ain't nobody listening to what I'm saying right now?
Some of these young people have really high needs. They really need therapy. They need a place to live. They need somebody to, talk to them about the decisions they make. That's not happening locked in a prison, though.
It's all of them come in this little shell that, they're just fending off the world to make sure nothing gets in and hurts them.
If we lock them away and we incarcerate them, we spend all this money, quote unquote, punishing them, they're much more likely to cycle in and out of prison for the rest of their lives, never become a taxpaying citizen, never becoming somebody who actually gives back to society.
Would you want somebody selling dope to your kid? You know what I mean? For those of you that do that, would you, if you had kids, would you want to sell it to your kids? Yep. Because we poisoning each other.
A lot of young people come from situations now in particular where they don't know people who have jobs. I've met young people who's never met a person who went to college and graduated, right? has never met a doctor or a lawyer outside of a courtroom or a hospital, right? And so what that means is they basically grow up in isolation. They grow up knowing only what they see around them, and that everything else is sort of a fantasy or make-believe.
You guys all sound real good. Everybody sounds real good talking about that, but how many of you got money invested somewhere? How many of you got money invested? And why are you sitting at YAP right now? Because you're on parole. Why are you on parole? Because you didn't mind the law.
Because I did it wrong.
Didn't mind the law.
This is wardrobe. So what we're going to do is we're going to get you fitted into some outfits. And now, are you applying for any particular position?
Right now, I'm trying to apply for like Walmart, little retail jobs, nothing.
Okay, you have some interviews lined up?
Yes, I do. I have one with Walmart in a couple of days.
Okay, wonderful. Well, we'll get some outfits prepared.
Wardrobe Opportunity is a non-profit agency that assists for clothing for interviews for jobs.
So this is 14. We are providing clothing for her so that when she is ready to go on the job interview, she will be prepared and well-dressed for the moment. Because of your height, we've been in existence since 1995, and our first year we served approximately 230 clients, and to date we've served over 16,000. Each client is allowed 2 maximum appointments. The first appointment is an initial interview appointment, and they receive 1 to 2 outfits that are interchangeable. Once they've received the job, they can come back for what we call a working wardrobe, and that working wardrobe they will receive 3 to 5 more outfits.
I'm such a lady, ain't I?
Looks good.
Thank you. I like it, but I'm just something that I'm not used to. But I think that if I keep practicing putting it on and stuff like that, I feel better about myself in it. I just feel weird because I'm used to sweats and jeans.
Looks good. Very good. Very professional.
That was a new experience for me. I got to see myself dressed up and how I look in a business suit. I felt better about myself. I felt more like a mother. I felt more like a woman. I felt more like a person, business and stuff like that. Okay,
but I think you're going to do well. You're going to do just fine.
I know.
Thank you for joining us. Until next week, I'm Rida Fakhri.